Oh, can you hear me now? I'm sorry, Lucis. Can you hear me? I forgot to turn my mic on. We should be good. Let me make sure we're good. You can hear me now? Okay, let me double check the volume. I forgot to turn my big mic on. Should be good. Let me turn it up. I apologize, guys. All right, good, good. I turned the volume back up. I got my Blue Yeti running now. All right. So, all right, cool. We have a situation in the United States where a man has been murdered on television for his political opinions. I don't care what your political beliefs are. I don't care what side you're on at this point. We live in a society where freedom of speech is protected, right? Oh, let me try the Facebook again. Hold on. Is it? Let me try it. Let me end it, restart it. Yeah. Let me reload the Facebook, bro. So hold on. Give me a second. I apologize, guys. We'll get all this more covered. Totally my fault. I walked into this already, but I forgot to turn the mic on. This is so unprofessional. But I don't run a professional operation. We know this already. So give me a moment, guys. I'm gonna get the Facebook going too. And then we'll get all of our thoughts. All right. Hey, Ryan, it's about to load back up there. So it's going to be kind of a case of taking a moment to load. Okay, we're good now. All right, so now we got Facebook sound working and we're streaming on Facebook and Tubes. All right, guys, we have a situation where a man in the United States, where we have freedom of speech, was murdered for expressing his political opinion. Even in a debate setting, literally at a university area doing it. I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care which political party you are a part of. I don't care what your affiliation. It's not fitness related because I will ban the shit out of you. Stop. Now, stop. Now, that being said, no, I'm going to address a political topic because this is big. This is big. I don't care what your political beliefs are. We have a society built on the idea of freedom of speech, protected speech. Okay? This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And anyone who's standing here cheering or celebrating it, you are celebrating the death of democracy. Not just the death of a human being. Keep this in mind. Right? There we go. We'll get rid of this guy. Yeah, the guy in the comments already hoping that I die. Fact of the matter is, it's a human being. This was a young man who was murdered for expressing his opinion. Right? A woman lost her husband who was murdered for expressing his political opinion. I've already seen the video, Kensher. I've seen the splatter and everything. I watched the arterial spray. I saw it. Two little children, lost their father who was murdered for expressing his political opinions in America. One of his little daughters was running to the stage to get to her daddy as he fell. Okay? That little girl was running to her dying father on the damn camera. Who was murdered in front of her because he expressed his political opinions? Jesus Christ. And people are celebrating. I want people to think about that who are celebrating this on the other side, guys. You are celebrating watching that little child run to her dying father. People who are celebrating and gloating. A little girl just watched her dad get murdered in front of her because he expressed his political opinion in a country with freedom of speech. If you are celebrating that, you are evil. I don't even care if you're left, right, center, whatever. That's evil. That is evil. And if you support that, then you are evil. You are the problem. Okay? This is not how we do stuff in a society with rules and laws and protected rights. We have freedom of speech in this country and in this society. Our entire society is built upon this idea that we debate these things. We discuss these things. We disagree, but at the end of the day, we hash it out and we talk it through and we talk through these ideas and we go vote. We don't kill each other over it. We don't kill each other over these controversial ideas. We talk it through. And then we think about it. We discuss the issues. We debate it. We listen to the different people debate. You listen to people like Charlie. You listen to the pundits on the different sides. You make an informed decision. What makes the most sense to you? What feels right to you after listening to the arguments, to the debates, and you go vote. We don't kill each other over it. And that's the problem. When we are doing this, when you start killing other people over their political ideas, democracy is dead. Because now that's tyranny. People want to talk about tyranny when you start killing the people who are discussing the stuff you disagree with. It's a problem. And I didn't even agree with everything Charlie had to say. But damn, guys. So what? You don't kill a man over it. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are worth dying for, and that's not one of them. Expressing your political opinions in a public venue and debating them is now grounds to be murdered. No. And I think the point we have to make here is that we as a society have to step up. Everyone has to denounce this. Like everybody, both sides. That's the only way this works. The only way this doesn't get bad is if everybody gets up, the people involved are caught, an example is made of them, keeping in mind this sort of thing could carry the death penalty. Everyone involved, rounded up, an example made out of them. Everybody has to get up and denounce it, including the left has to get up and denounce it. Because here's the problem they run into. If they don't, who has all the guns? So far, the right plays pretty nice. All things considered, considering everybody on the right has all the firepower. I mean, I have a ridiculous amount. I think some of you may not be aware of that. I don't just have 1,000 rounds of ammo. And I actually agree with both sides of the aisle on different topics. Like I don't actually do one ideology personally. One side has all the guns. What you do not want is for the other side to say, well, this is how we're going to settle stuff now, because now you're setting the rules of engagement. And society is then stepping up and people are saying, hey, this is a perfectly acceptable way to settle things. Do you really want that message going to the other end? Okay, take Charlie. Charlie had 5.3 million followers. 5.3 million followers. Right? I have plenty coming. Well, you can never have enough. All right, 5.3 million. I bet you 3 million of them have an AR. I bet you 3 million out of his 5 million have an AR. Do you really want to say to all those people, no, this is how we deal with stuff? Is that the message you want to send? Yeah, this is just how we deal with it. We take out the pundits on the other side. This is something that people celebrating or cheering, and I've even seen some talking heads in the media. Well, you give out this sort of rhetoric. This is what comes back. I saw people on MSNBC saying this. Do you want that to be your message? Is that what you want to tell to his 5.3 million followers? Probably 3 million of whom have AR. That, well, these things happen. Because you're sending the message to them that this is how we deal with political pundits. You want 100 of that 3 million to just snap and say, you know what? You're right. Is that what you want? Do you understand that would be the end of the other side? Well, we're trying not to talk about it, Hellboy. I'm having a different week this week. Like this is not the scenario that you want. The same thing I was saying kind of in the chat this morning, the people who are getting up celebrating and making those snooty comments, do you understand that you're over here, guys are putting this up under their real names, their real faces all over social media? It's like, do you not realize you're putting a target on yourself? That guy has 5 million follow and adore politically, yet assassinated on television. And then you're saying, well, this is how we deal with stuff. And they might live down your street. I don't think this is a good idea. This is dangerous. You don't want to put that message out. People who are gloating and second, I've seen some of it on social media already, on Facebook. People doing it on their real profiles. It's like, you do not put that out there. Don't put that energy out there. Because again, when you say stuff, well, what goes around comes around. Be careful of that. Because what goes around comes around might be one of his fans living down the street from you who goes, you know what? You're right. This is how we deal with politics. That's not the situation you want. Nobody wants that. Yeah, exactly, Peppermint. That is not, if you're on that other side, you don't want to set those rules of engagement. You don't want to say, well, this is how we do it. Because again, as he just wrote it, F around and find out. Like, you don't want that. The best thing everybody can do is to denounce it. That's the absolute best case scenario, that we walk away from this with everything okay, is if everybody gets up and denounces it, including all the pundits on the left, all the politicians, all the media people, get up and say, this is unacceptable. This is reprehensible. This is disgusting behavior. This is degenerate behavior. This is not how we do stuff in a free society. We don't suppress political speech with violence and murder. We don't do that. Right? That's your solution. Because what's the alternative? And I don't think people are grasping that. Look at history. No, Hellbull, that was an easy shot. I'm a better shooter than that. He was 200 to 250 yards away. He was on one of the rooftops, approximately that distance, overlooking it. That was probably a 5.56. It was an AR. That was bigger than a 1 MOA shot. So, no, that was not a super difficult shot. Decent proficiency, but it's like it's below my skill level. Like what I've demonstrated on camera before. It's below my skill level. Like I'm sub MOA all day long, baby. So that distance for me is this. I get hit this 10 out of 10 times. Are we sure? No, it wasn't a ball. I don't think it was. It not looking at the wound. It was not looking at the wound. No, it was a small caliber. I'm going with 5.56, 223. Best guess. Right. Best guess, unsuppressed 5.56 or 223. But they released, did they? Are you sure? Yeah, Corn, I don't think so. I don't think it was. I mean, I could be wrong. They didn't. He was pretty much up on our rooftop and he got out of there. So, but my point with all of it is people have to denounce it. They have to denounce it. Otherwise, it gets ugly because we don't want that. And stop and think about this from a historical context. And this is what people need to understand. All throughout history, do you not understand events of this nature literally caused civil wars? I don't think it was a 308. I don't think it was quite that big of a cartridge. I got a really good look at the footage. Just giving my opinion. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was a full-size cartridge. I think it was an intermediate round. It would have been a little messier. No, I don't think it's going to be the whole population PTSD. Some people are going to get it. A lot of people in the crowd, as kids, are going to have it. Wife's going to have it. But think of this in a historical context. A person with 5 million followers was assassinated over their political views. Do you not understand that level of event is what kicked off World War I? Like we're at World War I level starting event. Remember the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand literally started World War I. Civil wars have happened over events like this. Someone with that many followers, armed militant followers, got murdered and assassinated over their politics. Right? This could get ugly. Again, keeping in mind, this man had a lot of fans. This man had a lot of fans. So yeah, you're going to have to get those fans quelled. those fans are going to want to see some justice. They're going to want to see definitely the other side get up there and denounce it. Right? Otherwise, then we got a real problem. Because what happens if they get riled up? You don't want his fans, and I'm not one of his fans. Let's be clear. I didn't follow the guy. I'm slightly familiar with him. I mean, I'm somewhat familiar, but it's not like I followed any of his stuff. Like I wasn't a member of his pages or anything. I agree with some things he said. I disagree with some things he said, because that's what you do when you're a thinking, intelligent person. Right? There's a bunch of people who aren't denouncing it. I literally saw pundits and talking heads on MSNBC almost gloating, who literally threw out there, well, if you throw out hateful device, you get hate and divisiveness and that, and this is just a matter of time before this happens, making it sound like he had it coming. It's like, dude, it's free speech. But here's the thing, pal. I'm going to say the majority of people who were his followers wouldn't. The majority of his followers probably wouldn't endorse violence. But like everyone else, not all of your followers are going to be as completely sound. And that's the problem. Now you're going to have his followers riled up. We as a society have to shut down this idea. That means all the other pundits on the other side, they have to denounce it. Because what you don't want is for them to go after those talking heads and pundits. So yeah, the only solution is for everyone on both sides to get up, denounce this sort of violence, completely denounce it, and everyone involved, they're going to have to make examples of. They're going to have to make an example of them. So yeah. Let's see, the Larson guy, I'm not going to address any of that in here, dude. No, it's not bad for your feet. It's fine. What happens if it was a 480 who's done it and they take out someone? I don't know. Let's see. No, I'm not picking up where you left off. I didn't follow his work. What are you talking about, Jazz? I give a whole lot of really good advice in here. Ted, not that we will ever know or ever been able to change, but what's already happened. But what do you think the odds are that if the alleged shooter were a lifter, he wouldn't be in it? What? What are you talking about, Ted? Do you think this might lead to a lower? That's the concern. I mean, worst case scenario, Lexus. It could. Right? It could. And that's the point that we have to make with all this is people have to denounce violence as a form of censorship for political speech. And they have to. It can't be what the talking heads are getting up doing, which I already saw, almost blaming it. It's like, no, dude, this is free speech. And it's got to be both sides, no matter how controversial they get with political speech. It has to be discussed. It has to be debated. And it's protected. We hash through these topics. Hit the like for Coach. Tell him, Peppermint. Tell him. Hit that like button for Coach. For Coachino. Luke says it's making clear how large of the portion of the left that supports political violence. They aren't going to denounce it, and a culture has been building for years. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point with some of that too, Luke. But it's not everybody, even on the left. It's the more extreme. I know plenty of people on the left who don't hold those viewpoints. But yeah, yeah, Isaiah, I'm gonna ignore you for now, dude. You kind of trolling. All right. I've never seen a country where political opponents were demonized. This isn't obvious, but this has been happening for a bit, hasn't it? No, no, there's a manhunt. The person who stepped up just looks like they were just a crazy person. Um, and that's a distraction. No, the person clearly got away. Tell them, Card, hit that like button. Should imagine. I've already seen one suspect already through the internet, possibly may have been identified. Would you even have to be a skilled shooter? Not particularly, no. So again, I explained that earlier, Sam. That precision level is below my skill level as a shooter. It's below the skill level I have literally demonstrated online in the past. So I mean, it was greater than 1 minute of angle. $200, 250 yards, not being able to hit this because again we're down here. It was probably intended to be a headshot. Instead, it clipped the throat. No, that's not a high level of skill. That's not someone who trains all the time. You're looking at even one MOA is 2 inches to 2.5 inches. So if you're a one MOA shooter, you should be able to hit this 10 times in a row, right? 10 out of 10, or at least 9 out of 10. No, I'm still sitting at 209. No, I don't think it's necessarily someone powerful behind it. No, they got up on a rooftop. Hey, Jazz, I don't want to, let's not go into that. In the past, well, yeah, in the past 5 years, I'm like 40 pounds lighter than I was at the heaviest within the last 5 years. Right. You've seen me in the 240s. I'm at 209 right now. I weigh 209. Forearms are on point. How are we rating the forearms today on vascularity? How the veins doing? What do we rate the forearms out of 10? No, I agree. Extremism is lame on either side. Man, forearms on point. I mean, I'm willing to take any fitness questions. Now, I kind of said my piece, guys, at this point. I'm willing to do any fitness related stuff you guys want to cover. Forearms on point these days. TRT and natty are ubiquitous. I mean, TRT is a replacement dose. You're in the normal range, which is where I am. Even worse, I think the shooter was not a well-practiced. No, they weren't. They were an okay shot based on what I saw, but I would not describe them as particularly proficient. I mean, it was effective. How much do wind and temperatures? Wind drift's massive. Temperatures, at that distance, temperature's not going to matter. You're not going to see like an inch difference with temperature at those sort of distances. Wind drift can be a couple inches easily. Right? Hold on, let me see what's going on in my door. I'll be right back. All right. So we got rid of the pizza guy that a troll sent to the door. That'll teach me to leave my office door open. I have the doorbell unlocked. All right. So now what and what weapon? It was probably an AR. I mean, it looked like an intermediate cartridge. All right. All right, back over to this topic. Of course they are. Trolls are silly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close my office door so I won't hear any more going on. Well, it's not my problem. Yeah, exactly. They're mean, evil people. They don't care. They don't care who they hurt. Again, terrible, terrible people. But no, they didn't pay for it. They're going to want me to pay for it. I didn't even see what was in it. It was just a bag from Domino's. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. So someone's playing a joke on you. It's a troll from the internet. But I got to get back to my stream, guys. All right. No, they can't afford a whole pizza. Those people don't have that type of money. Hey, Vince, so we're not going to go into all that. We don't do that deep of pew talk, but no, it's perfectly reasonable at those distances. And it wasn't precision. Sorry, did that look like precision? No, it was probably breadsticks or a salad or something. I didn't even look. Yeah, small bag. Can we drop that? I'm going to start banning people for that. Y'all are encouraging. Y'all are encouraging it. Very strange comment, though, that you don't realize that ARs are used in competitive precision shooting. Like, how do you not know this? I weep for the culture. I weep that there is a grown man anywhere who doesn't know that. We have failed as a society. That there is a single adult male who doesn't know this anywhere in the free world. We have completely failed as a society. All right. How long should I run this for switching over to something else? The Reg Park 5? I don't know, till you get tired of it. Milk it out for some gains. And, wind it down, dude. All right. Yep. Okay. All right, what else we have here, guys? The views died down now that we had all that happen. We down only 37 viewers. We had a bunch. Let's get some other topics going then, guys. What else we want to know? And no, I'm not going to go into details of ballistics, given the nature of tubes too much, other than to say that's more than acceptable for precision at 200 yards. But that wasn't precision. Let me be clear, that was not professional. All right. How effective is Ripto's 3-day-a-week squat program, especially in regards to reducing too heavy days? I'm not a big fan of Ripto's programming, honestly. Ryan says, I'm going to start coaching my 16-year-old sister. Best approach for a complete noob. Dude, just put her on a very mild novice linear program. Ryan, put her on something like my Ice Cream Fitness 5x5 would be fine. I had a long-term fan who over a decade ago became a fan, wrote me a really great letter, who put his daughter later in high school. He put her on the Ice Cream Fitness 5x5. So like the Ice Cream Fitness 2.0 will be fine. What's your pull-up max reps these days? I don't know. I haven't done any in weeks. I don't know, probably 12, 15. When's the right time to get my 4-year-old son? That's too young. What you're looking for is a couple things in terms of starting age to lift. You want to have Tanner stage 4, which means he needs to be able to control his body eccentrically. That's not going to be at a set age. That's going to vary. Probably, though, bare minimum, 8 to 9 years old to get under a barbell, right? Number one. But no matter what the age, if he is not strong enough to control his eccentric, like on a body weight squat, he can't control the eccentric without crashing. Not going to work. Not going to work. So those are your two requirements. You know, be at least 8 or 9, be able to control an eccentric rep. Number 3, he needs to express a genuine interest in it without you trying to make him train. Right? Yeah, the guy was 31, right? Yeah, we're talking about Charlie again. Yeah. Yeah, that's young. Young husband, young father. I mean, 31. I'm 48, about to be 49. That's a long time ago. Oh, gosh, does she need strength and conditioning for basketball? Oh, yeah. Try the 2.0. Put her out there on your sled also. If one only manages to train 2 times a week, bench and squat every workout, rotating every lift would be smart to prioritize different lifts. I mean, you could, but I think definitely I'd squat and bench both days. North America's good day, Jason. Lower body day today. Happy training, bro. Awesome, man. I'm 31 in a few weeks. He's the same age. Yeah. I mean, yep. So, I mean, it's tragic. Have you ever had any problems with shin splints due to running? No. No, I don't want to go through all the pros and cons of rip toes programming. I just really don't. First of all, the idea of having even lighter days with the same reps, you're not going to get me to support that. That's complete bullshit. Done. I mean, that alone is enough to just say no. No. I'm already not sold. That's all we need to do. I'm at Monday bench, Thursday squats first. What? I'm not sure what all you're asking now. That's getting confusing with what you're asking. You got to start from the beginning as a whole coherent thing. Do you think your sumo could become better than conventional if you trained it? No, I trained sumo really hard for over a year, and I went months and months and months without pulling conventional, and my conventional was still stronger than my sumo. Right? So I hit a sumo max, and the next week I went to go hit a conventional max, and it was stronger than my sumo, even after training the sumo religiously for a year straight. No, I'm not using AI at all, really, other than my thumbnails. Why did you name it Ice Cream Fitness? Say it out loud, Sam. So you want me to say the name of why the original channel and the original program? Ice Cream Fitness. Coach, you look very youthful today. A lot of energy. There you go. I meant bench and squat both days, of course, but rotating which one's going. No. Go ahead and just squat first. You're only training 2 days a week. You need to get that squat in first. Who would win, Ali versus Mike Tyson in their prime? I'm going to go with Tyson. Well, I'm going to go the opposite. I pulled more sumo the first time I ever tried it. You guys going to make me pick between Ali and Tyson. We're definitely going with Tyson. It's all about your build. I could pull the same sumo convention, maybe slightly more. Yeah. I think. Anyone else have a take on that? Prime Muhammad Ali versus Prime Mike Tyson. You look a lot leaner now than that video you loaded 3 hours ago. Is that from another? No. Nope. So you're seeing me in the afternoons after I've had my breakfast and I'm carved up. So I get all my carbs and electrolytes in. So I'm all like veins everywhere. My legs look like this too, actually. All right. Let me see. Right? I'm all carved up. Ed Cohen versus John Hack. I got to crunch the numbers. Isn't Hack slightly? Stronger. How important is spreading the floor when squatting? Do you push your knees out? No, I spread the floor. Spread the floor. Right? Spread those feet. That will turn the knees out. You want to get that external rotation of the hip. Mount quadriceps. What's your opinion on calisthenics training as a whole? I mean, it's supplemental, but needs to be weighted eventually. Like I'm not going to be, hey, let's do calisthenics only. I'm just not going to take that position, right? They're good supplemental lists to have in. I'm a big fan of weighted body weight movements though, right? Would you ever collaborate with Elliot Hill? I don't know. Is he even interested? I've never heard him express any interest in collaborating with me. Nathan, are you against for non-competitors? I think that's a personal choice for the person to make. I'm not for or against. Do you ever take holidays where you go somewhere and take time off from the gym? No. Kind of gear am I using? I'm on a replacement dose of test sit. So I'm literally on a replacement dose. My testosterone's in the normal range. But test sit, that's it, nothing else. No ancillaries or anything. Is there going to be a huge difference between squatting wide versus narrow for muscle growth in the quads? Oh man, we could write a book on that one. Kung Lao, the answer to that is quite nuanced and complicated. What's your current bone density? I haven't had a DEXA in a while, but it was like on the bell curve, it was 4 standard deviation above average on those DEXA scans I did before. And I'm just as strong, if not stronger now, so I assume it's pretty similar. Advice to get better mobility, low box squats will help you. I guess you do, guy. For clients who need it, yeah. It's no one's business about my personal life. Well, I don't discuss that at all. Thoughts on the angle of the dangle equals the cubic of the pubic. I thought the angle of the dangle was directly proportionate to the heat of the beat. I don't know. What's your go-to cheat meal? I haven't had one this year. I haven't had a cheat meal this year. I mean, normally it would be either pizza or a Chinese buffet. What's the thing that irks you the most in public gyms? People who don't re-rack their weights. That's some hardcore dedication. Like, why do we need cheat meals? Like, I don't crave junk food. I'm so used to eating clean that I just enjoy it. Do you offer your thoughts on Charlie? Yeah, did the first 20 minutes straight. Yeah, North, go back to the start. It's on Facebook and the tubes. I'm streaming in both places right now. We stream it in both places, bro. So you can watch it on either one or on both. Tyson win, but only if he could do damage early on. If Ali can prolong the fight and make him go all 12. Yeah, Tyson, I don't think, had the same stamina. But here's the thing, Ted. Tyson win, but only if he could do damage early on. It's Mike Tyson. It was prime Mike Tyson. So what are the odds that prime Mike Tyson doesn't do damage in the first round? Is he just having a bad day? Is he just off a little bit? Any fellow lifters here get very lonely sometimes. I don't know. You squatting? No, my best squat this year has been 500. I mean, I did 405 for 4 yesterday on camera for my best set. How long do you reckon you'd last in the ring? Is that like that whole meme with Mike Tyson and Mia Khalifa, where it's like, which one do you think you could last more than a minute with? And it's like, I don't know that I'd be able to get an erection with Mike Tyson personally. What's the definition of clean eating? I mean, do you see my meals? Do I not post my food on social media 7 days a week? Do 7 days a week for months and months on that. Everybody, tell them what did I eat yesterday? People will know. They'll be like, well, it looked like a bunch of brown rice, chicken, broccoli, some potatoes, like some oranges in there, some yogurt, I mean, I hit 455 not that long ago too. So yeah. I'll be back to 500 pretty soon, I think, because I did a cut since then. So I'm not sure I'm going to put down Ali quick. I could take. Yeah. I didn't watch Ali growing up, though. I watched Mike Tyson. Like when I was a kid, so keep in mind my age. So Mike Tyson, when I was growing up, was on TV. He was on ESPN. He was, out there because he was competing. Like he was a champion during my lifetime. So Mike Tyson was the man pretty much, right? So if we thought of, hey, who's the toughest guy out there, like not movie wise, but the toughest dude out there for my generation growing up, it was all Mike Tyson, because he was all over the TV. Like everyone just thought, yeah, Mike Tyson. So I'm going to be biased because of that. Yeah, no, the silver blade. So it comes with the check mark. So when you get the check mark, they send you that. That's 100,000. But to get the plaque and the check mark, they run an AI check to see if you have fake followers, and they want to see 100,000 real followers. And they run a scan of your channel to determine that your content meets their standards for the check mark too. So it takes some of. So you apply, and then they run a whole analysis of it. But you get that when you reach your blue check, like I have my check mark. But you don't get the check mark either without them running the full analysis. So you have to actually request it. You have to apply for it. Once you qualify, you fill in a form and submit it. But 100,000. What age do you think your strength will peak? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it hasn't already peaked. I don't know that I'm going to pull 635 again like I did at 45. I may have already peaked. Right? Is there a place in bringing the knees over your toes? Maybe if you're doing some type of high bar squat. I generally don't think you need to go much past it, if past it at all. Do you have any luck getting a 3-0 with Megan Kelly and Scarlett Johansson? No, man, I have not. I don't see that happening. Right? Yeah. I wouldn't bank on that one. Right? I wouldn't bank on that one. Not saying it's impossible, but just statistically pretty unlikely. It's spinal. I know that. I remember that reference. Yeah, they don't get along. 500 squat versus 600 deadlift, which is more impressive. I think they're pretty similar, but depends on leverages and body fat. On average, they're pretty similar. For an individual, they're not. But statistically across the board and across body types, they're fairly equal. Like you get maybe a 2% decrease in body fat. What? I don't know about that, dude. I don't know who Anna Damaris is. So, Pia, we can, but I've spent a long. I got a little emotional early in it, so I'm probably not going to bring that same energy again. You may want to go back and watch it if you're really interested, though. See your videos, you squatting 4 or 5 and do over how much you do. One set. I mean, so this week I did, but those are rep work right now. I do one set right now. Look at that. If I'm doing reps, but I do them 3 times a week. But I do sled work after too. All right. I think we've pretty well gotten what they were getting out of this stream. Unless some people are, I don't know, I could run it a little longer. People might drop some super chats. Nobody dropped them. We had the high views and we didn't even see. We got supers yesterday. Just wondering if this is the closest you think you have been to a civil war since the first one. In my lifetime, yeah. I'm concerned this particular event could be a catalyst for one. If we don't sort this out as a society in the way that people approach what just happened yesterday, I'm concerned that could become a catalyst. Is there a possibility to have this type of stream in the future with non-fitness topics? Maybe. You know what? I very well might. I very well might. Do you regard Matt Winning as a real advisor? I mean, he did a whole fake PhD and stuff. I don't want to go into my thoughts on specific political candidates and everything. I really don't want to go there. I don't want to be at that level of what I do. All right. Because I don't run that political. I'm not that political. I'm not political enough that I want to put my public name and my whole fitness business behind individual political candidates for or against them. Does that make sense? Because when you do that, you do ostracize client base, you ostracize followers if they're on the other side from you. All over because of what you're talking about with a political candidate. I run a fitness business. How confident? I'm pretty sure they will. So I'm going to sound very Texan. I bet a dime to a donut hole that they do. I don't even know what that means, but it's a line I've heard growing up. All right. Yeah, I'm cool with Texas too. Okay, cool. I used to live there. I lived there for like three years. So. What's the best thing to do to have denser bones? We age to lift really, really, really heavy. You don't have to speak about. Because of the seriousness, I felt like this was a extremely serious, important topic. Like, let me be clear. This is an extremely important topic that could very well completely change our society moving forward, what just happened. And I felt like I wanted to speak on it because of that. As a voice of reason, right? As a voice of reason in the whole thing. All right. I know there could be many things causing my knee pain, but could you give one or two thoughts that come to mind why only my left knee might be when I do squats? No. Something wrong with your stance, could be weak hamstrings. We'll see if I get tube screamer. I don't feel like playing the guitar on here right now. I mean, yeah, it's talking about the green pedal. Let's call it tube screamer. Ibanez tube screamer. I don't use a tube screamer that much. I'm more likely to use the Marshall Drive Master or occasionally the DS1, depending on what I'm playing. I think the Charlie Kirk assassination combined with the recent killings, yeah, that's a lot in 1 week. Those are, you know what I mean? It all happened in the week of 9/11. It's like, man, you've recently got more well-rounded with your fitness goals. You think you might be able to find or want to find a sport that brings it all together? No, I mean, I might do 5K and stuff. I'll just do individual sports eventually. A few things I need to sort out first. Right? Without speaking to certain things in my life. But eventually, yeah, I will start competing in some stuff again. Suspect is likely already been identified. They know where he is. Investigators would be stupid to name the perpetrator. They're actively, exactly. If one was, my advice, start putting rounds in him, advance on him as quickly as possible. Engage and neutralize. Since all grown men carry, you engage and neutralize. You stop him from killing people. So you advance on him hard. That is your best situation. You stopped doing good mornings recently? Because I don't feel like doing good mornings. I'm doing lots of deadlifts. I'm doing enough deadlifting that I'm not worried about adding good mornings. In fact, my reps are going up now again. Right? I mean, I just hit on a stiff bar. I did 500 for 5 yesterday with just a belt. What if you're in a place you're not allowed to carry? Well, then kiss your Mickey Mouse ass goodbye, Kenshiro. You fucking die. That's what you do at that point. You should have known better than to go into that place. Yeah, you don't see me doing that. I mean, I'm sorry, you want the reality? What happens if you're at a place where you can't carry? Then you fucking die. That's what you do. What answer do you want? You accepted that possibility when you walked into that place. That you are not allowed to defend yourself where you went, and it could happen, and you accepted the possibility, like being struck by lightning, that you could die there with no ability to defend yourself. You made that choice when you went into that place. Unfortunately, I try not to do that. I don't go to schools. All right. A man was killed for using his First Amendment because he was in a place where the Second Amendment wasn't allowed. Hey, coach, just had a pretty nasty bout of pneumonia. Any advice other than just eating loads? I mean, eating loads, no. First of all, I'm going to leave that potential reference out. All right, let's set that aside. We'll assume you meant lots of food. No, you don't need to eat lots and lots of food. You need to just gradually add carbohydrate and electrolytes back in, get your water weight back, right? Yeah, that's all good. And slowly add food back in. But you need to get carb and sodium back up. It's probably water weight that you lost. So you need to get rehydrated. You don't need a massive surplus. What are your best advice you can give for great experience to have solid, healthy joints and tendons when lifting big weights for many years? Yeah, I do the same, Godspell. I mean, obviously not the airport or whatever, but you know, the odds there's not going to be one in the airport. They have too much security and they've already disarmed them. Unless you're back in the baggage area where you can put your piece back on. But you can check them and then you can put everything on once you're finished getting your baggage, which is standard protocol. As far as the other solid tendons and health, lift heavy, use fuller ranges of motion, be careful with partials. Use tendons and other stuff, reverse hypers, things like that to build up the tendons and areas you're weak. But band work is fantastic. Coach, do you think protein is overrated? How do I answer that? The amounts people recommend is overrated, yes. Is protein itself overrated? No. I mean, a high protein diet, particularly high bioavailable animal source proteins, are pretty well documented to be beneficial for body composition and muscle growth. Right? However, when we're talking about the amount of obsession over timing, the obsession over getting ridiculous amounts in, that's been way overrated. But, you know, saying that, look, getting like 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight, that's not overrated. making sure that at least a decent amount of it is high bioavailable animal protein, that's not overrated. For the ice cream program, do you suggest a warm-up? You mentioned warm-up sets. What is it? Warm-ups are very individual. You could just start with lighter weight and ramp up, right? So you start with lighter weight and ramp up. If you need to do some dynamic stuff like some box jumps or, some band pull aparts or whatever, if you're new, go ahead and do those. But, so you might need a little bit of stuff like that just to get you kind of in your groove. But then you just start with lighter weight. I don't do a lot of warming up personally, and I think that throws people off. Like I do one rep before I go to 500 pounds on a deadlift for rep work. I do one warm-up rep, one. Squats and bench, I do a little bit more. Like usually squatting, I usually start with a plate per side and do a rep. So I'll go 1, 2, 3 plate. So I do like 3 warm-up reps. Benching, I'll do like 3 reps with the empty bar, 2 or 3 reps with 135. Then I'll do like 225 for a single. Then I'll go to 315 for a top set. It's pretty normal for me, but obviously if you're newer, you're not going to have that same technique ingrained. Paul Carter said his training has been better since started focusing on carbs and protein. Some days he doesn't even eat. I wouldn't go that low, but to be fair, carbs are my dominant, right? Carbs comprise more than 50% of my total calories at any given time. So, it makes sense to me. But again, I train hard. I do a lot of cardio. I do full body workouts and I run on alternating days. So I do a 5K every morning that I don't lift. Right. And I do list cardio 7 days a week, up to an hour on my bike. Then I do 3 full body workouts. I need a lot of carbohydrate. Like my training thrives in that environment. Keeping in mind, once your basic proteins needs are met, carbohydrates are potentially more anabolic anyways. Right? Because again, the anabolic response of insulin, having full glycogen stores, particularly after you train before bed, going to bed with full glycogen stores after lifting, you're creating a phenomenal anabolic environment there. Having all those carbs, those glycogen stores, and you get up to train. Again, training fuel. What fitness advice do you give for people over age of 60? I don't have specific advice for that. I don't know where they're at in regards to their journey. I wouldn't have generic fitness advice for people over 60. I would want to look at their situation specifically before giving any advice. Carbs help me sleep. I'm the same way. I find carbohydrates absolutely improve my sleep quality in the evening. Yeah, as Jay said, low carbs might work for someone trying to lose weight. In many cases, they do, especially when you want to look lean and dry. They can have a spot. Of course, I'm carved up right now. But if you want to train hard, you're a dumbass if you think low carbs are ideal. I agree. That greater, less cortisol, better sleep. Well, carbohydrates at night improve melatonin production. 3 5-day fast? No, I don't recommend more than about 20 hours at the most for a fast, if you care about muscle tissue at all. I do 18-6 for the most part. I fast every day. So I do 18-6 intermittent fasting. So yes, I eat like 600 grams of carbs inside of a evening feed window. I go to bed full. That's why I'm all veiny right now. I've had all these carbs. I've already had like over 300 grams of carbs this afternoon. You see yourself lifting heavy weights in your 60s and 70s? I don't know if it's going to be like I'm doing now. Like, are you asking me, am I going to do rep out 315 on a bench and 500 on a deadlift as work sets? Probably not. Do I hope to be doing 225 for work sets on the bench and 405 on the deadlift at 60? Hell to the yes, that. Right? I went on a super slow cut in 2003 and then went on a high carb, low fat bulk early 2004. I made it say, yeah, dude, carbs, man. The guys don't grasp. I don't know why they don't understand how magical high carbohydrates are when you were trying to just get bigger and stronger. I'm not saying some healthy fats don't go a long way for controlling inflammation, improving insulin sensitivity, but in terms of just sheer push, like the ability to have higher training loads, the ability to have that muscle glycogen, again, lowering cortisol, hormonal response, carbs are king. But don't get me wrong, healthy fats that absolutely have their place, right? But calorie for calorie, good, clean, healthy carbohydrates, right? Some good starchy carbs go a long way. What's up, Rubio? Yeah, we had a bunch of viewers for a while. We had well over 70 viewers due to the topic early on. Drop my like. I appreciate that. Like, man, the likes, look at those likes today. Yeah, the glycogen is also for making you look bigger, right? It makes you look bigger. Look at my forearms just because of all the carbs I've had this afternoon. They don't look like that in the morning when I train. Yeah, I think we hit 77 for a little while, 77, 75, stayed there for a bit. But yeah, carbs, dudes. I mean, carbs, dudes, look at that. We all carved up. We all hard and vascular. Got veins and cuts everywhere. I literally just avocados. Yeah, I had 2 avocados today. Mostly brown rice though. I'm gonna eat some oatmeal here in a bit. I had some chicken and I'm gonna put a little oatmeal, and some Greek yogurt and some honey in it. And put some raw honey in my oats and Greek yogurt. Is my final meal. Right? Put some cinnamon and honey on it. Cinnamon's also good for insulin sensitivity, apparently. I've seen some data on it. So I like to take like the oats. Sometimes I'll mix a little bit of protein powder in it, and we'll put Greek yogurt over the top, then dump cinnamon over it, then raw honey. I'll usually take a picture, but then I mix it all up with the spoon after. Get it all mixed in good. You know, we're getting a lot of prebiotic and probiotic out of that too, because you have all of that fiber from the oats, right? Then we have the Greek yogurt with the live cultures, and then we have the honey, which is also very prebiotic, right? We are in pursuit of gut health there. To show that to those carnivores, they'll be like, that's killing me, that's poison. There's a lot of anti-nutrients in there. You know, if you weren't eating carbs, you wouldn't need all that fiber. Homo erectus didn't eat that much fiber. They were hypercarnivores, according to this one university in Israel, at least the ones in northern Venezuela were. Have you ever been into riding motorcycles? No. Keep in mind, I have a vestibular disorder, so no. I really enjoy eating bro diet with just a few select. I mean, like me, today it was chicken. I didn't do broccoli today because I had a bunch of spinach and peppers left, so I did those instead of broccoli. But I did brown rice, potatoes, chicken breast, and then I had spinach, avocado on it, some diced up bell peppers, and a little bit of guacamole sauce. Right, that's what I ate most of the day. And then I put a couple of small avocados in that also. And then we'll have the oats and Greek yogurt and honey here coming up later. All right, we eat clean, guys. I mean, health is wealth, right? Antioxidants, fiber, protein, quality carbohydrates, healthy fats. You know. Yeah, they come up with some, and they act like anyone's doing it successfully. Really, most of the best bodybuilders on earth who are shredded and jacked, high carb diet, chicken and rice. Most NFL players, high carb diets. Most top rugby players, soccer players, all these people winning everything around the world, high carb diets. The fittest, most jacked, most athletic people on earth, as a general rule, the overwhelming majority are on high carb diets. Longest lived populations on earth, high carb diets. Where do they come up with this crap? right? Where do they come up with this crap? I don't know. Insanity. Carbs, baby. Yeah, they used to make. I look leaner when I do it because all my waistline sucks all in. It's like, but I'm fuller and veinier on carbs, and I have way better training. Right? So the body composition itself ends up being better. The myofibrillary hypertrophy muscle lasts longer even after there's some extent, but I think at the very least, muscle fiber nuclei count is fairly permanent from training. Right? That seems to last for years and years and years and years, from what we can tell. Which is going to be the metabolic machinery that can rebuild that muscle in any time. But no, I think myofibrillar growth does stay quite a bit longer once you really establish a lot of it, and it bounces back really easy. Jason, I'm now 35, and you can tell that investing years into health and fitness plays huge dividends. I'm starting to notice a huge benefit compared to others your age. Bro, let me tell you. And at my age, think about that. Think about what I see in my age bracket. I'm a dude who's over here repping out 500-pound deadlifts and running 5Ks several times a week at 48. What do you think I see in people that I've known my whole life? Like, damn. You know? So they're giving another 13 years. And it's going to be like, yeah. Whoo. What do you do? What do you do? We still have solid views in here at over an hour. There's a lot of people kind of just hanging and chilling in here. How's the Facebook? I didn't even check. Nobody's posted for a bit there. They were posted. They might have got a little bored. They're like, we didn't have enough of this. All right. What happened with society demonizing carbohydrates? Keto, I know, right? Absolutely insane. Yet the reality is observable. Carbs are king. I remember when that myth went around that carbs make you fat after 6 p.m., right? Your comments about muscle nuclei makes sense because it would explain how someone who trained experience takes a long layoff, bounces back. Yeah, the best researchers have figured out that that's why muscle memory happens. Because of, again, the ability to measure stuff better with better equipment now. What they found is that increase in muscle nuclei count goes up as you hypertrophy, but when you lose the muscle, all those nuclei stay. So the density goes way up in someone who used to train. It's like super high. And that's, again, the machinery that kicks out all the protein. Okay, let's be clear. That's the factories for the protein. You still have all those increased number of factories there to rebuild the lost protein much faster. So yes, muscle memory gains are faster than nuke gains because you literally have protein producing machines in the muscle fibers still. So it's just right, just like that. It just prints the hell out of it. In 2002, weren't you your biggest and lifting the best squats? Yeah, it was having health issues. Mainly the body weight. I was having some sleep apnea and it wasn't worth it to me. So I trimmed down after that. So yeah, I was squatting 605. But my body weight was too high. I was even doing like the vertical diet type stuff. Like I was living on all that red meat and bison and white rice. And I was on like 4,500 calories. You know, it just wasn't ideal. I'm way healthier now. I'm at 209 still. I'll eventually just leaner, just for ideal health, really. That's what we'll do. All right, guys. I think it's time to probably wind this down. Too bad we didn't get any supers, but that's okay. We got good super chats yesterday. I'm not gonna get them every day. It's nice when it happens, though. But yeah, wind it down. Love you guys. Let me shut down the Facebook burst. Yeah, we had good numbers. We'll see what it is at the end. It'll probably be decent views. So love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.